been publishing for the past 3 years now, and we cover political affairs, school news, mental health, and much more. I'm Anya Dhawan, and I'm the Chief Executive Editor.
I am Dhruti Sharma and I am the Executive Editor.
I'm Supone and I'm the Content Editor.
I'm Chris Michael and I'm the reporter for Cerebria MCS.
So we'll start with the first question now.
Okay.
Could you share a memory from your time as a student at Mount Carmel that holds a special place in your heart?
Well, in my time in Mount Carmel, I was of course in the Omnicated branch. And I was big into the Western music department. So there was a time where I had formed a band with a couple of my friends, and we got to perform live when I was in 8th grade at the senior assembly. And it was the first time anyone from my class or anyone I had seen do that. And so it's a strong memory that sticks in my mind that I really enjoyed and look back with a lot of fondness.
That's really nice to know. And could you describe your experience from transitioning, being an alumnus of Mount Carmel, to assuming the role of a manager now?
It was definitely a large shift. But it's something I feel which, being an alumnus, gives you that quality where I know what the school is about. I know, and of course my grandparents were the founders, and so I know what their legacy is, and I know what their ethos is, and I know what they've always wanted. And so being an alumnus, being part of the family legacy, I feel like I have a special idea of what it is to be a Mount Carmel student, what it is that Mount Carmel wants to achieve, and what is a good way to go about it. And so I think this is what's special, this is what's helped me transition into being a manager now.
So what were your hobbies in school and how have they changed now?
Well, a lot of my hobbies, to be honest with you, which were in school, still hobbies today. So I was a big chess player. I started the chess club when I was at Mount Carmel Advocated. We went for a lot of tournaments. It was a great time. Still love my chess. Of course, big video game guy from school days, so still do that stuff. So yeah. And of course, just sports. I love sports a lot. I'm a big sports guy. I was a sports journalist at one point. And so, yeah, anytime I get to watch sports, still do that.
That's great. So how was your experience with the students and teachers being as the manager? We'd love to hear any cherished memories of your days now.
Well, it's been a very short time. Less than a week, really. But I haven't had a real good chance to interact with the student body yet. Other than I've been at a couple investiture ceremonies and graduation ceremonies. But what I know of the student body, what I've seen through the annual days, is that this is a very energetic student body that wants to prove, that wants to get out into the world. And so it's something that excites me. I can feel their energy. Every time I see the student body interacting and doing something public, I feel that excitement and joy. And so it gives me that energy too, that I want to be able to try and improve things and try and bring new things. And so it's an exciting time.
How does your family's history with Mount Carmel shape your vision for the school?
Well, my family's vision, especially with my grandparents, a few things that I know, many things I know, but the one thing that I know about the school is that they always believed in child development to a very holistic vision. And they always believed in Bible-based education. Always believed in the strong values of the Bible and of what they can teach us. And so that is something that I hope to continue. Because we know that we can all tell what the good values are, why it's important for us to have those. We need to have boundaries in life for certain things. And so what they taught me, which taught me all of that, which was every week when I'd go to their home and stay the night and the weekends, we used to have 3 hours of Bible study. And then if we were lucky, we'd watch Pirates of the Caribbean after that. So they knew how to mix it up a bit. But yeah, so I've known what their beliefs are, what their feelings are about these things for a long, long, long time. And so being able to carry that vision forward now, of being able to keep things based on the Bible, but to be able to make it more holistic for everyone else.
Can you share an example of a challenge
challenge I have faced in school management and how I've overcome it. Well, again, it's very early days for me, so I can't point anything specific that was very challenging. But let's see, what can I say? Certain things I can't talk about that are very challenging, of course. I think one of the more challenging things I've had to do is to, I can't talk about that. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, there's certain things I just can't talk about. Some of the more challenging things, I guess, are taking processes that have been in place for a long time and trying to modernize it. So if you notice a lot of the office work, which I'm sure you guys probably know, but from what I've noticed is a lot of it is still a lot of papers, a lot of, all these cupboards are filled with files. And so something which I've taken upon is try to digitize a lot of the processes, try to make a lot of things online, try to make more use of MCOM. And so I'm trying to make things much more accessible for parents and for students and for the staff. Try to reduce some of this fatigue with printing things out and photocopying things and having printouts of things that are made for events that last 45 minutes. And that enormous waste of paper is just painful to see. And so trying to reduce our footprint like that is something which I've been trying to do. And it's a challenge because there's certain ways that people are setting certain practices, and so you're reinventing the wheel for a lot of it. And so those are the challenges which I've been enjoying trying to change those. So yeah, it's a challenge.
So, as an alumni and now part of the school management, what do you think makes Mount Carmel unique as compared to other schools, from a student's perspective as well as a managerial point of view?
Well, what I think makes Mount Carmel unique is our culture. We have a very unique culture where founders were there till their last breaths. You know, every student that has walked through these doors until their recent admissions has had an experience with them, has seen what it's about, and they can tell that it's different from other schools. You know, we may not have the biggest playing fields as in the other schools, and yet we're competitive with these other schools. You know, it's incredible. Our sports teams do great. Our music program is top of the line, and we're only getting better. And so you can just see from the certain things that we emphasize that we're not just a typical school in India where we focus on we need to get top marks in boards or else nothing matters. You know, we believe we can't make a fish climb a tree, right? Not every kid is coming here to try and be a board achiever, and they can't. As much as we want everyone to be able to get everything they want, some people are just built different. And so being able to help kids achieve what they're best at, try to help them develop their passions, get a little taste of everything in life is something which I think makes our culture unique and what makes Mount Carmel unique.
So, do you have any other plans for the school that you might want to share with the students?
I have a lot of plans for the school. I have a lot of things that are cooking right now, but I can't share them just yet. But all I want to say is be excited. There's a lot of exciting things in the pipeline. So yeah, believe me, it's going to be good days ahead.
So, what was your favorite subject, and when you were in school, which was the subject you hated the most?
Well, it's a tie for me. I had two subjects I loved a lot. One was English, I don't know if you guys can tell. And the other one was history. I was a big history student because my grandmother and my dad loved it, and so I just felt that passion for a long time. But the subject I hated, absolutely hated, was math. Not for me. 10 out of 10 would not recommend. Yeah, it's just terrible. Luckily for me, I went to a school where in 12th grade I had the option to drop math, and it was the happiest day of my life. So did not look back and regret it at all.
So, as a student in MCS, was there a teacher who made a profound impact on you?
I guess there were a couple teachers, but one very notable one is one who's just retired from Advocate. Her name was Elizabeth Abraham. just a wonderful teacher. When I mentioned loving English, it was due to her. I remember being in fourth grade, and it was my first time going to senior school, and then she bursts into the room, and then just takes down a chair, puts the chair down in the middle, and just starts talking in the most wondrous ways and telling us these stories, and immediately getting the mind running. It was just incredible. Her energy and her passion were so infectious that even till today, I just remember that, and I just remember I get goosebumps. So yeah, just absolutely changed. First time I enjoyed joining the classroom was with her.
So what part of your association with Mrs. Nina Williams do you cherish the most?
Well, when you mention her name, a lot of thoughts run through my mind. But I think the most special times I had with her were the one-on-one casual times when we were able to just chill out and watch a movie or a show together. Of course, it evolved a lot since when we were kids. She used to love showing us. There used to be a cartoon called Veggie Tales. I don't know how familiar you guys ever did. This is a very old cartoon. It was old when I was a kid. And she used to love showing us those. And it evolved from that to her showing us some of the most mature content when we were still too young for it. And she's like, no, this is no problem. And till today, when we'd be able to be watching, shows like Succession and Game of Thrones, and she just would love to talk about it. And so it was a lot of fun talking to her about these things.
So, what inspired you to come back to India from the US?
What inspired me to come back to India? Well, I will say it was a tough decision. I really loved the US. It's a good time. I had a lot of good friends there, a lot of family there, and I spent a significant time there. But what made me want to come back was a very simple feeling that I was missing my family and missing a lot of significant events in life. Of course, I lost my grandfather and I lost my cha-cha, and so I was getting very tired of missing out on these very important moments in my family's life, being halfway across the planet and being stuck in a pandemic where I couldn't come out. And so the moment the opportunity presented itself, where the stars aligned, it just made sense. I just had to go that trip. So.
And sir, as you've pursued your higher education in broadcast journalism, right? So are there any specific tips or advices you could give our newspaper?
Of course. So first of all, I'll say y'all doing a great job. I love how prepared you guys are with these questions. So part of the joy of broadcast journalism is for me at least, was again part of the conversation and trying to figure out a way to make things light, try to keep things fun, and then try to be able to slide in these little daggers to get in some of the information you really want. And so I really love that almost chess game aspect of it. I'm trying to read the room, trying to read the interviewee, and then trying to get what I want. So that's something I really love. So I feel like if you can start thinking in those ways, it can really help develop your game. And then another thing which I always appreciated is always trying to keep your ears to the ground. And always try to keep your eyes up for anything. Sometimes there's these small little things which seem insignificant, but when you start pulling at it a bit, you just start seeing where it leads to, and you get a little excited. So, just keep your ear to the ground.
Also, you went to Woodstock, am I right?
Yes.
So, are there any experiences from there that you'd like to inculcate in Mount Carmel?
There are a lot. Woodstock, again, significant school in my life. The other loved school in my life. And a very different school from Mount Carmel. Of course, being a boarding school and being in the mountains had its own challenges. But a lot of the things which I really loved there was the student culture. Now, of course, we have a culture as a whole organization where the students have their own culture and the staff have their own culture, and they mix slightly. But in Woodstock, again, being a boarding school, it was all one big culture, where if there was a every weekend we would have programs where we would have students coming into the schools, and we would have like a dodgeball tournament, or we would have like a large soccer tournament, and the staff were allowed to have a team too, and so we would have staff versus student matches all the time in every sport, and the staff would constantly beat us at cricket. It was very humiliating. They would destroy us. But every other sport we had a very good chance. So that was part of the culture that we enjoyed. And then of course the music program over there is second to none. And so that's a big thing which we're hoping to get to that level. Hopefully get a nice little marching band with some brass soon and see where that goes.
An off the record question, what's your favorite burger brand in the US?
My favorite burger brand in the US? That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
We've placed our bets on certain brands.
You placed your bets on certain brands? Okay. Well, this will, see, you know what? It's so good for me to know how well you do your research. Because my favorite fast food burger brand is a place called Whataburger. Did any of you have that?
That was
Any?
the part of the bet. But Solomon sir said it's Burger King.
No
And I
way.
said KFC.
No way. KFC doesn't do burgers in America. Real, there's no Zinger in America. They have it in Canada, but not America. It's a very weird thing. But it's Whataburger. See, the reason why I said it would be a good test for your research is because that is a Texas-only chain. And now it's slowly growing outside of Texas. But that is a pure Texas place, and it's fantastic. But, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.